Have you ever wondered why you seek out psychics and mediums? And it's more just for information? Today's episode, you're actually going to find out why.
Do you want to know everything? What your heart won't say, but your soul can sing. From love to loss and the space between, she's got the light to lift the unseen. Hope, healing, and transformation. Do you want to know everything? Do you want to know everything?
Welcome to Hope, Healing, and Transformation. And on today's episode, we're going to uncover why you look at for psychics and mediums and healers and all of these other coaches and a lot of other people, and how you can actually help yourself. My name's Lisa Williams. Thank you for watching Hope, Healing, and Transformation. And I'm going to tell you honestly, I think this is a really good topic. One of my biggest aims, as someone has been doing psychic medium readings for a long time, over 30 years, I will share with you, I see it time and time again, how many people come into my office or have sat in front of me, or I've done a Zoom with them, or I have worked with them in some capacity, and what it is that they're looking for. And they are looking for connection, or they are looking to have an understanding of where life is going to go. They want hope. They want this feeling of certainty. They want to know that they're on the right track. And a lot of people go externally and they seek externally for guidance. And there's nothing wrong with it. I have done it, okay? My name's Lisa Williams. I am a former psychic junkie, meaning at one point, I used to have reading after reading after reading. But this was a topic I really wanted to cover on my mini-series, The Shit That Scares Us, because I feel that psychics and mediums and healers, what we do is we help people deal with their insecurities, their fears, to help them navigate life. Period. Now, we're in a world of complete uncertainty right now, and people are seeking out psychics, mediums, coaches, gurus, rather than going to standard sit and talk therapy or CBT therapy or EMDR or whatever it might be. But there is a lot of people who are seeking externally for validation rather than going internally. And I will tell you, as somebody who does this work all the time, many people are hoping that I am going to give them the answers. And I'm sorry, I can't. Because the thing is, I'm not here to live your life. You have to live your life like I have to live my life. And your hopes and dreams and your fears and insecurities are not like mine. And that's what makes us all different and unique. But often when we're seeking for the answers, what we're not really realizing is that we need connection. We need reassurance. We need to know that we're not alone, that we need to know that our hopes and dreams, our patterns, our things that are inspiring us actually matter, and that it's actually safe to move forward. I will tell you, sometimes I see people that come to me for a mediumship reading and they say, what does my mum want me to do about the business? What does my dad want me to do about the business? What would my mum say about my wife or my daughter or my parent or my spouse, or not my parent, or my partner or my spouse? A lot of the times they are looking for that external validation to really dive deep. So here's what we're going to talk about is we're going to understand the fear of disconnection, and we're going to help us understand how fear makes us outsource our intuition, and really we've got to be intuitive and listen to ourselves, and how you can build trust in your own inner guidance. So I have seen this pattern for years. As I said, over 30 years I've been in this industry. I have spoken in front of 7 million people around the world. I have had TV shows, I have written books on this. So when I tell you, I feel like I'm qualified, I think I'm really qualified in this area because I'm seeing patterns that have happened. And whenever people sit down with me, a lot of people are hoping that I can give them the answer, or that I can give them the reassurance, or that I can help them in a way to move forward. And really, a lot of times when I am giving information out, I'll say, listen, I'm being shown that this business or this relationship, and I will tell you, I've got these beautiful clients, absolutely beautiful, and I value every single one of my clients. And one of them particularly, whom I adore, every time I get off the phone with her, I'm like, oh my God, I love you, because I adore her. She says, all you're doing is validating my own intuition, Lisa. And I am all for that, because what people are looking for is they want not necessarily permission, but maybe somewhat permission to trust their own inner wisdom, or they need clarity to trust their own inner wisdom, because sometimes you can't see the wood for the trees. You can't see beyond what you actually have. And when I talk about my client, and this is someone who is very well known. They are very much they have their own following. They're highly intuitive. And when they come to me, which we break down different parts, she's like, yep, that's exactly what I feel. And she'll never share with me what the situation is. She'll say, okay, I want to talk about this person, this person, this person, or this. I'm like, great. So I tap in, and I'll tap in and honestly say, I think this is what I think is going to happen, or this is what I'm feeling is happening. She's like, great, this is exactly, you're on the same pathway as me. And so what I'm doing is I'm just giving validation. I'm somewhat giving community. I'm somewhat giving confirmation. And that is something that she needs, because there's sometimes a little fear that we may get things wrong. And especially when you are making big decisions, potentially, big decisions about millions of dollars, or big decisions about family health, sometimes you need that a little bit of help to actually help you trust yourself. Now, there is sometimes a fear that happens in working with a psychic medium, and it's that fear of being disconnected. It's that fear where it kind of comes to us and you think that you're on your own. What if I get it wrong? What if I'm rejected? What if I'm unsafe? And at that point, that becomes this real difficulty. It becomes this, we need this safety net. So we start scanning. All right. So at that point, when we have this disconnection, which is the reason why a lot of psychics and mediums get bookings at 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I will say many people find me at 2-3 o'clock in the morning, unless they have worked with me before, and then they go, oh, it's time to check in with Lisa. But a lot of the times they are going through something, or it's late at night or first thing in the morning that they have been woken up, and they are concerned, because what they're doing is they are searching for someone who may know, who may help them. And that could be anyone. That could be a parent, a mother, a brother, a sister, a psychic, a mentor, a coach. It could be anybody. And there is, my friends, absolutely nothing wrong with getting guidance. I do it. I have a coach. I adore my coach. My coach, she keeps me rich. She keeps me on track. She keeps me going. She often says to me, she said, I'll be the person that will sit on your bed when you were 12 years old and you had to clean up your room. I'll be the friend that will sit on the bed and talk to you to make it go easier. And there's times that she has sat on Zoom with me where I have said, I just have to get this done. And she's like, okay, let's work through it. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, oh my God, you just made my life so much easier, because I had someone to spitball off. I had someone to bounce ideas off. When you're the boss, like I am the boss in my team, it's not always easy to have that spitball, because they want to please me. Yes, they'll share with you their information, but I'm really the one that's generating all the information. And at that point, and because that's who I am, and at that point, I need to have someone, a coach, to actually bounce things off. Like I said, there's nothing wrong in seeking out these people. Honestly, I will guarantee you I'll still have a job at some point in my life, because we will never be out of that position, because people need that connection and communication. But when fear drives when fear drives your search, you can become absolutely dependent on it. And that is when you start believing that somebody else has the key and unlocks the information for you. Let me give you an example. How many of you follow TikTokers or TikTok psychics and mediums, or you are following people who pull cards? Okay, some of you may. That is your need and your search to have information dependency, because what you're trying to do is your fear is running the show at some point, and you need to pull an oracle card, you need to look at a TikTok, you need to do that, and that is where the need comes. Now, I'm not saying that those people are bad, but what I'm saying is that takes us back to, which is one of the reasons why I started to do it and then I stopped. But that takes us back to the old paradigm where where psychics and mediums used to say to you, oh, cross my palm with silver and I'll tell you a fortune. Or, oh, you're in grave danger, but it's going to cost you X amount of money to actually get that information. That is where it's fear driven. We don't want it fear driven, okay? There's so many times that everything is fear driven in life. You know, marketing, advertising is all for your pain points. And this is what I want to highlight with you with this mini series about fear and the stuff that scares us, because it truly does scare us. It keeps us paralyzed. Is that so much society is driven in your pain points, and that's what they're looking for. From a marketer's perspective, we are here. And I say we because I have to do marketing, but we are here and trained to look at what are your pain points to speak to you. It's your algorithm. It's how we can get to you and we can market to you. It's just a simple marketing strategy. But at the end of the day, are you continually seeking that external guidance? Now, I will share this with you. Not all psychics and mediums are trained. One of the things that now I will share with you, I'm not trained, but I'm proven. And I've had the TV shows, I've proven, I've done 7 million people. So there's a very big difference. Now, and I'm not knocking any psychic medium out there, but I'm giving you information here. I am driving you home in information so you can understand the levels that people go to. There are some psychics and mediums who are out there who are literally going to ride on your fear and say to you, bring me information back. All right, bring me, I'll help you out of this fear. Absolutely. Yep, they'll be there and it will help you momentarily. Then there are some people who are like, oh, you're in grave danger, blah, blah, blah. And they're riding that fear. Or there are some people who will say, hey, I'm here if you want me and have a reading with me. A lot of the times you have to, and I'm digressing a little bit, but you have to be very, very aware of certified psychics, okay? And when I say they're certified, you have to be very, very careful of this, because there's so many people who can certify a psychic or certify someone under their school. But there is a difference when someone has a registered certification or they are going through the registration of certification. I will tell you, I have gone through 5-6 years of making my CSA, my Certified Spiritual Advisor, a certified registration. And that means I have had to submit documentation. I've had to tell everybody what my certification process is, how many hours they have to do, all of these things to make it of a certain standard. It's a standardization. And what people don't realize is I now have to follow that protocol, that standardization to get that. And that's what sets it apart, because that's a lot. All right. There's a lot that's gone into that. That's time, effort, money, because, and I'll just share this personally, because my biggest thing is that people get quality readings, because I know how much your fear has paralyzed you in that moment. And so therefore, I want to make sure that there are psychics and mediums out there who are certified and healers that are trusted, that have gone through these standards. And these standards have not changed. And at that point, because my biggest fear, one of my fears, is that this world will get taken over by people spouting off their just opinions and it not becoming a gift. And therefore, you are ruining the quality of people's lives. Because honestly, when I am doing a psychic medium reading, I am carrying your life in the palm of my hand for not just that hour that you are with me, but for the rest of your life. Because I will guarantee verbatim that you cannot remember what you had for dinner 3 nights ago, but you can remember verbatim what I said to you in a psychic reading 4 years ago, because it's meaningful to you. It is helping you with your fears. It is helping you navigate your life. It is helping you heal. It is helping you with all of these things. So when we start when these psychics and mediums are harping on your need for connection, your need for communication, your need to identify your fears, what they are doing is they are tapping into those fears. Now, like I said, I am not saying that this is a sweeping statement across the board about every psychic and medium. Absolutely not. I am saying it is a possibility that you can be riding into your own fear to find your own approval and connection. And when someone else is guiding that navigation, that pathway for you, it's dangerous. And let's look at what's really happening in your brain when this is really going on. Because what's happening is you are craving these outside answers. You're seeking out. You're seeking the social support, the approval. You're seeking reward pathways, which is your dopamine. It lights up. So therefore, it's almost like when you've bought a red car and you're like in that moment of like, oh my God, did I make the right decision? And all you see are red cars. What it's doing is it's telling you that you are on the right track. This is a system, okay, when your dopamine lights up, it's exactly the same system as when you eat sugar or when you like something on social media or when you have check marks that are going off and you're like, oh, look at that. What you're doing is it's your reward system. You feel good about it. And your body literally has this moment of safety and when someone else is validating you. And that can be dangerous. That really can be dangerous. And when someone else is validating you, we want to actually be able to empower you to make your own decisions. I can get on my soapbox about this all the time because I've seen it time and time and time and time and time again. I have seen it when there are mediums that should not have been certified or registered, or psychics and mediums that should not have been certified and registered in other organizations. And I'm looking at them and going, you are ruining somebody's life because I've witnessed their readings. And I'm like, how is that happening? And so, because we have to understand that you are going to, in this moment of doing a reading, you are vulnerable. You are totally vulnerable. And you are literally giving somebody permission to make your decisions. Because I'll tell you, I've been there. I am not telling you from someone who does readings. I'm telling you from the perspective of someone who's been there. I will tell you absolutely honestly, I had a reading before Chris went to Afghanistan, and that person said to me, if he goes to Afghanistan, he will not come back alive. That crucified me. Now, granted, it was someone I trusted. It was someone that said to me, I'm only telling you because you wanted the answers. And yes, but that played on my mind, and I will tell it crucified me the whole time that he was in Afghanistan. In fact, my fear of him not coming back alive stopped me from doing a whole wealth of things, because I didn't want my daughter to open the door to the boys in blue who would potentially be telling her or walking up to the door and telling her, hey, her dad's died. You just don't know. So it drove me every time that phone went off. I was driven to it. I lived in a constant state of fear for 9 months. And I'm telling you, it was hard. And so this is why I talk to you from this point, from this moment, and I speak this truth here. And I'm having a deja vu moment right now. I'm speaking my truth. Now, because at that point, what I'm doing is I'm really vulnerable. I'm really scared. When my husband is going off to Afghanistan, I'm really scared. So of course, I'm going to be like, oh my God, I have these natural fears within me. And so of course, what I do is I call a psychic, and they are reading on my fears. They are projecting their own thoughts, feelings, emotions, because they are tapping into my fear. And at that point, that is a recipe for disaster, an absolute recipe for disaster. And that's why I train my psychic mediums exactly the same way. It's a recipe for disaster. And so here's the other thing. When you're seeking that external approval and you're needing that reward factor, you are needing that external validation from psychics, mediums, coaches, and healers, and gurus, and all of these things, from tarot cards, whatever it is. Now, meanwhile, the rejection part of it activates another part of us. It's the pain center that processes physical injury, which is why our criticism or being ignored actually hurts. It stings. That's the reason why. So when you're unsure about something or somebody or some situation, your nervous system is actually, again, your nervous system and your brain are wired for safety. Your nervous system is saying, hey, let's go and find someone that actually knows about this. So of course you're going to find a psychic. You're going to find a medium. You're going to jump on Chat GPT. You're going to become Dr. Google. You're going to do all of that, Dr. WebMD. Don't tell me you've never done it, because if you're listening to this, you have done it. I'm part of that whole playing system. And that is safer in your mind, in your nervous system, than actually guessing or using your own intuition. Because what it's doing is it's playing in this emotional sense. But belonging and approval, okay, so belonging a part of this, which is our reward center, and the approval are not the same. Belonging is being seen for who you truly are. This approval is performing who you think you should be to feel safe. So there's two different spaces. One builds trust. The other one deepens your fear. So you're in a catch-22 situation. So I feel like I'm talking about two different things here, because reality is one, find somebody that's trusted. And I have a directory of people that you can go to who are part of my certification. And all of my CSA people have to be recertified to maintain that level. And this is the thing that I don't think people realize. To maintain that level, they are maintaining a registered certification, which is a very high standard, because I can get on my soapbox, and I am getting on my soapbox. This industry is not regulated. And that is a problem. This industry is not regulated federally. In the state-wise, it is not regulated anywhere. There are certain states that will say that you cannot go and seek someone who is fortune-telling, aka a psychic, to help you. There are states. And so in this space, I want you to understand, and somebody might be saying to you, well, you're just driving fear home now, Lisa. No, I'm bringing awareness. I want you to have an awareness space about it, because I know how serious this can be. That's the reason why I think it's important. So we're going to be talking about intuition shortly, but I want to talk about energetically when we are constantly outsourcing for your guidance, when you are constantly asking people for advice, you are constantly pulling an oracle card, or you are constantly going to a psychic medium, or you are constantly going to, I don't know, your coach or whoever it may be. What you're doing is you're outsourcing your energy. Your solar plexus and your heart here, your heart centers, you are actually disconnecting from your gut instincts, your survival mechanism, your intuition, and your own wisdom. Period. You are outsourcing the information that you have inside of you. That your field at that point, when you are seeking external validation, your auric field becomes very porous, very, it's like a sponge. You absorb people's opinions, you absorb information. You would then start looking at things that come on the TV, or you listen to people with opinions that really shouldn't matter. It's like, why am I, I'll listen to my husband's opinions, but seriously, does he sit and listen to psychic readings? Well, he's heard me do many, but does he know how it works? No, he doesn't. Why should I be listening to how I should communicate or how I should be? Okay, there are certain things. Remember, that's the reason why community is so important. Find your community who understands you. Because as soon as you start having these porous, this information, these opinions, what you're doing is you're not radiating your own truth. Now, there are people out there that are trained, such as my psychics, are trained to disconnect from the information that is coming, okay, from you, like your fears, all of this stuff, and their own fears, and they sit in their own presence. They sit in the presence, and they are not here to make stuff up. And I always say this thing, all right? I always say, you throw enough shit at the wall, something's going to stick, okay? That's something they are trained not to do. They are trained not to throw enough shit at the wall so it can stick, because I won't have that. I'm like, oh my God, you're throwing all that stuff out. Something's bound to stick. Yeah, well, I'm not quite. Discern what they're getting. And that's why it's important. This is the reason why after some of these readings and sessions, you may feel lighter, but there's, because you're like, yes, I'm intuitive in this and it feels great. But there's other times that you may walk away from a session with a psychic medium feeling drained and confused. Because not only is your energy porous like a sponge, and that psychic and medium, you do not know what they are coming into the reading carrying. I cannot tell you how many times I've walked into a reading and I'm like, I probably shouldn't do a reading, because they are now carrying my reading. They're now carrying the energy. And I've had to stop that reading because of who I am. I've stopped it. One of the first things that I like to do before any form of reading is I have to change the way that I am, the way that my energy is. And it's because it's an energetic exchange. I'm not here to say that all psychics are like this. I'm really not. I'm here to give you an awareness about this. And my husband talks about it all the time. And he has just walked in. Hello. I'm not going to bring him on camera. But he talks about it all the time because he says, Lisa, I believe in you. I may not believe in everyone. And that's the thing, because he also knows the standard. But here's my role. Here is my role. I am here to be an intuitive or a healer. I'm not here to replace your own inner wisdom. I'm here to help you see it more clearly. I'm here to help you recognize it, because your intuition lives in your body first. Before it gets to become a thought or anything, you are going to get a sensation. That chills in your arm is going to come up. You'll feel it. You're pulling in the gut, your chest expanding, that subtle knowing. This is your nervous system that is activated. Now, if you are in chronic fear, or if you've got this underlying fear element, that intuition is going to completely scrambled. You can't hear your intuition over these alarm bells of anxiety that going wah, 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 at you. That's why you've got to reconnect to your body, and it's the first step to reconnecting to your inner guidance. When your body feels safe, your intuition becomes back online. It's why you have to do the work. When you are feeling safe, you feel like your intuition is back on target. So we're going to do a little exercise here. We've done the breathing exercises where you've breathed in through the nose for 4 and you've held for 2 and you've breathed out for 6. What we're going to do is we're going to ask, at that point, we're going to do that breathing exercise, and you're going to ask your body to show you a yes and show you a no. So you can do this standing up. And if you're watching me online, all right, so I'm going to do this for you, but you can do it standing up. And so what you're going to do is, I like to take a deep breath. And so I'm going to take this deep breath. So I'm breathing in, holding it, and releasing out. Now, you can just place your feet shoulder width apart. So that's all you have to do. And I like to put my hand on my chest or my hand on my belly. Your belly button happens to be your neutral point. We have magnets all around our body. And so your belly button becomes this neutral point. So for instance, you can ask for a sign for a yes, and my body's moving forward. You can ask for a sign for a no, my body's moving back. Now, what I want you to do is, if you're moving backwards for a yes and yet forward for a no, I want you to tap on your vagus nerve and tap on your chest quite firm. All right. And we're going to just tap for 30 seconds until we get a yes to go forward and a no to go back. Okay. Now, it may not switch. It's up to you, but I like it to go forward. Okay. And I was just taught that this weekend. All right. So for instance, you can then notice the reaction. And what you're doing is you're noticing the reaction. You're noticing how you're going to work. So you can grab something, whatever it might be. I'm going to grab my water here. All right. And then I can say, is this good for me? And all of a sudden I'm taking a step forward. I sometimes actually use my intuition saying, should I write the book on fear? Oh, that almost tipped me over. Should I write the book on fear? Should I, whatever it is. Should I don't know, sell my house in Florida? Oh my God, there's the no. So you have to, and I have no intention of selling my house in Florida anyway, but at that point, what is happening is your body is telling you what needs to happen, because your body is the compass. You can use that easily, and it's simple kinesiology. That's all it is. And what I want you to know, that once you're actually doing that, it helps you. It starts helping you get into your own intuition. You want to ask it yes and no questions. Now, I also am all about journal prompting and giving you journaling, because I have a friend of mine who's a journal coach. I adore her. Her name is Kate Beddoe. I'm going to say check her out because she does a lot in journal prompting. She does a lot. She's a journal coach, and I didn't know what it was until a few years ago. And I will share with you, once she started me down that rabbit hole, I never came out of that rabbit hole. And I do feel that journal prompts, even if you don't journal, just hold this prompt with you and think about it all day, might give you some help. I definitely love to journal. I like to journal every single day. And there's some journal prompts. So you might want to ask yourself, where in my life have I been asking others to tell me the way because I'm afraid to trust myself? So where in my life have I been asking others to help me find the way because I'm afraid to trust myself? And then you can also ask, what small decision could I practice trusting myself this week? What small decision could I practice trusting myself with this week? And just see where it takes you. Start listening to your body. Start allowing yourself, because this fear of being disconnected is real. You're not alone. Your body's wisdom and intuition, your higher self, is always there. These external guides can be the mirrors for what you've got, but you are really, truly the person who is guiding yourself. Sorry for letting me get on my soapbox. Well, I shouldn't say sorry, but thank you for letting me get on my soapbox, because I do think that we're seeking external information all the time. And I do want to share with you, Karen Romine and myself, we're actually creating a brand new membership. And it is an opportunity to join our community where you will be with like-minded people. She has been working with a lot of business people in strategy, in AI. I have been doing a lot in the intuitive space, especially with emotions and how we are, how we're actually seeking and working through life, as well as grieving. And what we've realized is that people are in fear. This is your opportunity to get signed up onto the priority notification list with PRISMORA. Go to PRISMORA.com. You'll be the first one that knows about the doors opening, which open next week, I think, if not in the week after, but they are opening really, really soon. And it will give you an opportunity to help yourself get through these fears and start living the life that you want. So my friends, thank you for listening. My name is Lisa Williams. This is part of Hope, Healing and Transformation, and it's the mini-series of The Shit That Scares You. And we've really been diving into psychics, mediums. And if you do feel the need to share this, please do. I think it's really important to get this information out. And I look forward to seeing you all next time.
Do you feel a whisper in the back of your mind, like the truth is waiting, but it's hard to find? Well, maybe there's magic in the words she brings. Close your eyes and listen in. Do you want to know everything? What your heart won't say, but your soul can sing. From love to loss and the space between, she's got the light to lift the unseen. Hope, healing and transformation. Do you want to know everything? Do you want to know everything?
Thank you so much for joining me today. And remember, the information shared on this podcast is meant to inspire and support you, but it's not a replacement for personalized advice from a qualified professional. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone who might benefit. And don't forget to tune in next time. Until then, take care and keep believing in something better.